So this is my July wrap-up, as well as touching on my plans for August video. You're gonna have to really excuse how I'm going to sound. My next few videos, if I do them, are probably gonna sound much the same. I've been fighting on this ongoing chest thing. It's been wreaking havoc on my life, but I'm not gonna get into that. That's not what this channel's about. This channel's about books, but I'm not gonna let this stop me. So you'll have to put up with me sounding like crap. Anyway, for the wrap-up for July, I participated in a month-long readathon, if you haven't seen my previous videos, called the Medievalathon. And I completed almost all the challenges. There was only one challenge I did not complete, and that was to get my cape for my clothing, which was to read a book with red on the cover. And the book I was reading for that was Rook. I only got about halfway through during the readathon for July. It just was a time thing. It wasn't so much that the book's bad or anything, or I was reading it too slowly. I just ran out of time. I was enjoying it, but I started it late and I ran out of time. I do plan on finishing this one this month. I'm actually almost done it already. But so that's the only challenge I didn't complete. To get, I'm going to hold up my little doll here. So to get my boots, I had to read something with yellowed pages, and I read through the Poison Chalice. I was so thankful I did not have to read the whole series to understand what's going on in this book, because this book is like, I believe the internet said, number 17. And a lot of the reviews said it could be read as a standalone, but let's be honest, we all know what the internet's like. And usually 99% of what you read on there is, you get into something and you're like, yeah, no. But no, that was really good. It was a good standalone. I'm actually interested in the series now, even though I kind of jumped in really late in it. So I might go try and track some more down from that author, maybe the beginning books of the series, and just see how these characters develop, because I like the characters in that one. It was a good mystery. And then for my challenge for my shirt and my sword, now the sword was read something with pointy on the cover, and the shirt was read something with shiny text or picture on the cover. I read Allied and Avenged, which are the sequels to Ruined. I really enjoyed Ruin. Allied, it was okay for me. I really think it could have been split in half and kind of amalgamated into the first two books, and some stuff could have been cut out and some stuff could have been added. It dragged in places, and then the ending was really rushed for the series as a whole. Eventually, I quite enjoyed. For a sequel book, it definitely held its own. It didn't at all feel like middle book syndrome or anything. So yeah, that's where I am on the series. I don't have Allied to hold up, but I did finish it. What I read, I enjoyed. I just really feel like that last book could have been written a little differently, and the extras cut out and, like I said, amalgamated into the first two books. I think it really could have been a really awesome duology had the first two books been a little bit longer. And the third book and its dragginess and rushed ending did not exist. But that's my personal thoughts on that. For my lovely little crown here, I had to read a book where the character fights for the throne. So I read Eden Conquered. Now, this is an example of what this duology is, an example of what I wished the Ruined trilogy was. There was no wasted words. There was no wasted time. The author got to the story, got to the point, and just had a really awesome time with it. This also has a bit of a longer epilogue where it touches on the characters after the fact. and the aftermath of everything that's gone on. Not many books, a lot of books do like an epilogue, and the epilogues are like basically they lived happily ever after kind of epilogues. This one doesn't necessarily fall into that category. I'm not going to spoil too much for it. I'm trying not to spoil it at all. But I liked the way the author made the backlash, the consequences of what happened throughout the first two books really matter in her epilogue. She's written it in a way that you're very happy with the ending. Kind of want a little bit more, maybe a novel or something. But it definitely, this duology was worth it for me. The first one I read last year, as I mentioned in a previous video, so I finished it up for the Readathon. And then for my final book that I read, for the, which one was it? I have to look at my list now, it's been a while. Oh, for the skirt and the amulet, which I have on her forehead, which is supposed to be helmet, but I couldn't find a dog in a helmet. I read and finished The 1000 Deaths of Ardor Ben. This is the biggest book I read this month. This was also for my Big Book Challenge. In fact, this is the biggest book I think I've read for the Big Book Challenge. It's like 740 odd pages, 749. I loved this book. Even though it's very big, it doesn't feel wasted, and the characters are just plain entertaining. And it's got a bunch of twists and turns and just everything you love, in a very kind of epic, high stakes fantasy. So yeah, this is apparently the first book in a new trilogy, so I'm going to have to keep my eyes out for the other ones. But that was that one. So 5 books, rank of princess. That was the Readathon and also my July wrap-up. Now, jumping into August, I've kind of decided I'm going to dedicate this month to the unread sequels on my shelf because they're piling up. I have this bad habit in trilogies, series, duologies, whatever. If there's more than one book, I read the first book and I buy the other 1 or 2 or 5 in some cases. And I tend not to read them. Well, I do read them eventually, but they sit on my shelf for literally years. I think I have one series that has been on my shelf for like 4 years, and I've read the first 2 books. So the only first book that I'm reading, aside from finishing off Rook, is the big book for August. I also bought the audiobook for this, but it's The Bone Season by Shannon. This is the only first book I'm reading this month, and only because it was my big book choice, and for my big books, I'm trying to keep it to the first books. Excuse me. So, I have 6 books chosen for the actual sequel parts. I'm not sure how many of these I'll get through. There's 2 readathons I'm participating in actually right now. One of them is the series Crackdown, which started yesterday, I believe it was. I found out about it a little late, so but that runs until like August 11th, I believe. I'll put a link for their Twitter and that down below. And Dewey's 24-hour readathon is holding a reverse-a-thon. Started yesterday at 5 p.m. my local time and is going to 5 p.m. today. So I've been reading for that. But the books on my August list also coinciding with these 2 readathons. I'm going to try these again. Firefight and Calamity. They are books 2 and 3 of the Reckoners trilogy. The first one I adored. I tried to read Firefight. I can't really even remember now. It was either last month or the month before. And I couldn't get into it. And I wasn't sure if it was just my reading mood or if I just was no longer interested in the series. So I'm going to give these a shot. If I still can't make it through Firefight, then I will probably end up giving Calamity away when I give Firefight away. But I'm going to give it one more shot and see how far I get. Then the other two books are the books 2 and 3 of, I'm not even sure what this trilogy is called, but the first one was 3 Dark Crowns. And they are 1 Dark Throne and 2 Dark Reigns by Kendra Blake. I really enjoyed the first one. It wasn't my ultimate favorite, so these have been sitting on my shelf for a little while. But since I'm focusing this month on finishing off some of my started series, I figured I'd pick those up. And then for the last one, and again, I'm not sure if I'll get through both of these or all of these, but they are The Heart of Betrayal and the Beauty of Darkness, which are the Remnant Chronicles. I read Kiss of Deception, I want to say last year, like late in the year. I think it was November or December. I'm not 100% sure. And I absolutely loved it. And then I picked this one up right away, but then I wanted to wait till the third one. My bookstore caught it, and it took them so long to get it. And then they got it, and I picked it up, and it ended up going on my shelf, and I never picked up the series. So definitely excited. This is probably my most excited reads for this month. So that is the July wrap-up, plans for August. Sorry for sounding like crap. I'm trying to not let it take any more time out of my life than it already has. So yeah, that's everything for now. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.